is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hello, welcome. Happy Thursday to all. Jim Toth, how are you doing this fine Thursday?
Thursday, game day. Well, sun's out, guns out. Look, I don't go too much onto the I'm on social media and all that, but I don't I don't sit there and scroll for hours and stuff. But I did see one of those videos of somewhere in Iowa, I believe, two guys from California, surfer dudes, showed up at a city council meeting. And they said, yes, we would like to address council. We heard that there's a petition to ban guns in the state or in this county or something. Yeah. And he was like, well, that's not on the docket or something. Well, we thought we'd bring it up. And they said, we think this is a vital, being from SoCal, we think this is a vital part of our freedom as Americans and all that. And as they go on to the city council in Iowa, it's about having their sons out, guns out, not about banning guns.
A bunch of idiots.
And they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely. And then the one guy goes, what are you going to do without these? And he flexes. And the city council is like, okay, you're going to have to leave now. Right. This is not on the agenda. It's not part of time. This is part of our freedoms. We work hard on our guns. And anyway, has nothing to do with today's show. It's just the sun's out, guns out, humidity's out. Go to the Bomber game, have your guns out.
Another sold out game at Princess Auto Stadium
sold
with the Red
again,
Blacks.
Cam.
Yep. No, they're going to be sold out all year.
You think so?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think so.
What if they're 4-7?
Because I think they still.
I think they're sold out all year.
I think they're going to be sold out
It's a big year, Grey Cup.
Jets at Noon brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line and win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program as we're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. So, Jim,
by the way, credit to our listener yesterday who anointed Wash Method the onsen of Winnipeg for your car.
Yeah, it is.
For your vehicle.
And if you're wondering what an onsen is, ONSEN, look them up. They're Japanese communal baths.
You, too, bring your vehicle to Wash Method. Yes. You get soaped up initially and sprayed down. Yeah, and then you go through the cleanliness portion.
And then you relax.
And if you're fortunate enough, you can onsen to the right and go in to get the interior done.
Yeah. Make sure you always onsen to the right. Don't ever onsen to the left.
Well, you'll go back onto St. Anne's.
Yeah.
So
don't do that.
You want to continue the onsen.
Yeah. You want to keep.
Onsen on, if I may. T-shirts are coming. Onsen on.
They first called Wash Method on 690 St. Anne's Road. First, it was referred to as the Paris of Winnipeg, the Eiffel Tower.
The Niagara Falls. The Niagara Falls of Manitoba.
Yeah, now it's also the onsen.
The onsen.
So if there was an onsen.
Of North America,
if there was an onsen in Niagara Falls.
Well, now you're just creating.
This is exactly what it would be.
You're just creating money. It's just a moneymaker.
That's all it is. What was the question? We asked a question of the audience yesterday, 204-780-6868, about rules. And we'll get to this in just a second here, but I also want to let you know that the 2025 promotional game days have been announced by the Winnipeg Jets, and I'll make sure to mention that before the day is done. And also, we'll get into some of the rules that we would like to see the NHL reshape. We'd like to see them change. And I also found some that are a little suspect.
Well, see, I didn't I did my homework.
You did?
And I got a couple. But I didn't delve into these ones like you did, and I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah, you're going to want to stick around till after 12:30, where I give you some dandies. As my grandfather would say, some dandies.
As Ed Whalen used to say, some ring-a-ding-dong dandies.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe there'll be a couple malfunctions at the junction.
There might be. You might. You know what, listener, you might like them, or you might think, that guy's nuts.
You want to go to a party, Mr. Whalen? No, I don't. Well, you're not invited. That was J.R. Foley to the late, great Ed Whalen during Stampede wrestling days when I was a young man in southern Alberta going, you respect Mr. Whalen.
Stampede wrestling was huge, man.
It was massive.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoons. It came to Lethbridge once. My father took us. We left early. He was not impressed.
He didn't like it.
The non-TV version of Stampede wrestling was not for children.
Really?
Although there was a ton of children there.
Well, because they probably like the TV version of it.
Well, I think it was tamed down a little bit. Like
Was there
the Hart brothers would roll into the Lethbridge exhibition grounds, and Wakamatsu was there, and Bad News Allen, and Rotten Ron Starr, and the language camera that was flying around that arena on a school night. Frank the Tank was like, "Boys, let's go before you start smoking as 9 and 6-year-olds."
Frank Toth said, "No thanks."
Yeah, no thanks.
We're out of here.
But Dad was always the guy who would come downstairs on Saturday afternoon and goes, "Why don't you guys go outside? Turn that TV off." "Oh, is that Bad News Allen?" And then we'd sit down for 2 hours. I'd keep saying it's so stupid, but yet he'd watch with us.
Well, but it's so super stupid. It's fun, isn't that the allure of wrestling?
Yeah, it was a ring-a-ding-dong dandy.
So here's some. I don't think these are dandies. I think these are actually up for debate, and we can. Well, some of them are. Some of them are a little crazy, but power play. Here's one that I found. Power play always 2 minutes, even if a goal is scored. How do you feel about that?
I like that.
I do too.
Do you think it would incur same amount of penalties, more or less?
Less.
This was actually on my list, Cam.
Yeah, there would be far less penalties.
Yeah, I don't know, at the speed and stuff.
But listen, you would pay for the man. Like the importance of penalty. I mean, penalty killing is important, but the importance of penalty killing, like, it would skyrocket. You would sign guys for a lot more money that were just role players that are now PKers. Those guys would be seriously important on a team, more important than they are now. To go out there and kill penalties, man, blocking shots and all that. It would be pandemonium. It would be interesting.
So here's the problem with it, though, because I look at the pros and cons.
Yeah,
the pros would be outstanding. Like, you could get a team like the Oilers or somebody, or the Tampa Bay Lightning, and in 2 minutes score 3 goals. The flip side of that is you get a minor penalty 4.5 minutes into the first period, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 2 minutes later.
That's right.
And the game is essentially, unless they took a penalty. It would also be embarrassing if you had 6 power plays and didn't score, and the other team got 2 and scored 4 goals in 4 minutes. 4 minutes total.
But think of the comebacks.
Yes. So I do like it. It'd be thrilling, but I also think it would ruin the game in the fashion of, if you took 2 minors in the first period and there was 5 goals scored, the game's over.
Here's another one that we hear all the time. 3-point standings. 3 for a win, 2 for an overtime shootout win, 1 for an overtime shootout loss. People always bring this up, but I've looked at this for several years, and it makes almost no difference at the end of the day in terms of standings.
Well, what it does make a difference of is, and we've talked about this.
I mean, like at the end of the year, once every team plays 82 games, the change in where teams sit in the standings is almost nil. Like, you'll maybe have one team move up a spot. It's almost exactly the same.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But the difference is in February, if a team is 5 points back, like, to gain 5 points in the National Hockey League standings in the new year it takes 2 to 2.5 months if you can do it. And then you need other teams to lose. It's false parity, right? But the difference is if you're in February, there are fans that go, our team's only 5 points back. This is a divisional game. Let's get tickets. Let's go.
Yeah.
In the 3-point system, they would be 12 or 14 points back.
Yeah.
Or 13 points. And then that's a different story, right? Because then it's pretty obvious you're not coming back from this. You're not going to gain 13 points in the standings in February.
Yeah. It's false parity.
So that's false parity. It looks better in the stat sheet. It looks like you have a chance. You get the old, you just got to keep winning. There are teams that go on 10, 11 game winning streaks, but you need the other 2 or 3 teams you're chasing and go on 10 to 11 game losing streaks. So I don't really care about this as much. I do like the 3 points for that, 2 points for an overtime win, and none if you don't. But now you get a point if you go to overtime.
Yeah. So I was a big proponent of this, and then I actually looked into it and I did the numbers and I went back over I spent way too much time on this, and it's almost identical. There's some teams that move up and down a little bit, but really it's almost the same. It only really matters when you have a team that is constantly taking games to overtime and winning, then it and losing. I mean, that's
the Dallas Stars got in. Was it 2 or 3 years ago that they literally they went to overtime. Their record was not good, but they went to overtime 13 times.
That's the big difference.
13 points.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big difference. Here's my hot take, and I'm heading into a break on purpose on this one. Cancel offside reviews. I want them gone. I want the offside review gone. I think it evens out over the course of the season. And it's just another stupid review that we have to sit there and wait while they go over every camera angle and all this crap. And then lots of times people don't like the ruling that was done anyway. So I just think get rid of them. Over the course of 82 games, it evens out. Just be done with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I
know you don't agree with that, but I'm almost for canceling.
I mean, there's
reviews.
nothing more heartbreaking if you get a goal in a key moment, especially in the playoffs, and then it's offside.
Well, yeah, just don't review them.
But
just trust the linesman.
But I'm the guy that if I shoot 120 on the golf course, I shoot 120. I'm not giving it a kick with my foot.
If it's a tiny fraction offside, who cares? I know that
because
it is offside. I know, but big deal. If it's the speed of the game, who wants to review it? Like waste all that time,
I do see that.
Deflate
like
the
if
crowd.
It's less than a millimeter. I mean, that's the play is the play. I get it, but then at the end of the day, like I said, I can't sleep at night if somebody foot wedges my golf ball, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if it was offside and it wasn't called. It's just things like that bother me.
Ken texts the show and says offside review limited to 30 seconds top, so it's not obvious in the time frame. It's irrelevant on a millimeter. I kind of agree with you, but I'd get rid of them altogether. Let's keep this rolling. Hey, text us yours 204-780-6868 204-780-6868. Still to come. We'll get to those out there rule changes.
What do you have
we
for
have
us?
some times, and I want to hear what you have to say too as well. But when we come back, the Jets have added some new promotional nights. I'll tell you what those are when we come back.
CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. The 2025-26 promotional night giveaways for the Winnipeg Jets. They have October 9th is the home opener, where they're going to have a toque giveaway. And then they'll have an opening weekend celebration on the 11th where mini banner giveaways will be handed out to the first 5,000 fans. They got child advocacy night, 90s night where they're going to be giving away corduroy snapbacks. Halloween game, Pride game, Filipino Heritage night, Hockey Fights Cancer, South Asian Heritage night, holiday game on December 15th, Ukrainian Heritage night, Après Ski night where the Jets will be giving away ski goggles to the first 5,000 fans.
There are some new ones this year.
Yeah, Country Night the Hoser game, March 14th, where they'll be giving away Jet Trapper hat giveaways to the first 5,000 fans. St. Patrick's Day, jerseys off our backs, and then some other great initiatives like celebrating women, Black History, the Wasack Night, Hockey Talks Night, Canadian Armed Forces, Parkinson's Awareness Night, and all that sort of thing. And then Fan Appreciation Night to wrap things off on April 16th. So make sure you stay tuned and get your tickets on your favorite promotional night.
The ski goggles and the hoser hat, I always get, and not from people here. These things happen, and then friends or family from across the country reach out and go, "Can you give me one of those hoser hats?"
Yeah.
No, I cannot.
I can't. I don't want it for myself. Why would I give you
they're
one?
always popular, right? And they always get the fans going. So,
Jim, real quick before we get to some of the crazier ones and we get the ones from the audience here, return of the two-line pass. Rule change. Bring it back. I don't think so.
I don't think so, no. There's less room out there. Players are faster, bigger, but I kind of like where we're at with this right now. There's not a lot of the parts of the game I dislike right now.
I want your rules too, Jim, when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line and win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method. 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza. Also, download the Jets at Noon podcast free now on Apple, Spotify. We're also face-to-face on YouTube or wherever you find your favorite podcast, with plenty of memorable Jets talk and episodes and special content exclusively found there, so you can take Jets at Noon wherever you go, whenever you want. Jim, we're talking about changes to the NHL. What rule changes? What else do you have? I know that you had a full 2-minute power play, regardless if you score. That was on your list.
I did have it there just to get people's ideas. I'm not sure I would like it because the game could get out of hand real quick.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. The other one was offside review, but a way of making it better. Now, I know people have said put a time limit on it. One texter said 30 seconds. Another texter had said 20. The problem I have with that is you got to get it right. So the last thing I want them, I would, instead of having a time limit of seconds on it, I would do a max of 2 minutes. I don't know why you can't do it in 2 minutes and make a decision on that.
Yeah.
You might need more staff, to be honest with you. Like, you might need more than one person sitting there editing the angles and looking at it, and then having somebody make the call. But I don't mind that. And then the other one, it was around the power plays, where if you score on a delayed penalty, that the penalty still happens. So if there's a hooking call and the play goes on, and instead of a save or a face-off and the whistle's blown, if you score, then the 2-minute penalty still happens.
Yeah, Frank texted that thing. Good. I was going to mention that one from Frank. Frank,
thanks,
Texter Frank sent that.
Frank's on it. Now, I wouldn't want the endless power play then in that thing. So I think the endless power play would get out of hand. I've mentioned this already in the first segment, but I think you could have a team score 3 power play goals in 2 minutes, and the game's over, right? Now, the argument would be that, well, what if the other team got 3 power plays over the course of the game? They could get right back in it. And I wonder how coaching would change on the penalty kill and stuff, right? The other idea I had, Cam, and this is wild, was what if on the penalty kill, if you get a goal, if you get a shorthanded goal, the power play's over?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I like it.
So if you have a turnover 28 seconds into your man advantage, it goes the other way and you get scored on. Your man advantage is over. Because I always find an interesting part of the game is when you do get scored on the power play and you still have a minute left to kind of get that goal back.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. But the flip side of that would be, I mean, what pressure would be there to not turn the puck over or give up a shorthanded goal?
And you'd have teams going for it if they needed to.
And I love shorthanded goals. I think that, you're facing the momentum of the other team and you can absolutely devastate them by not only countering with a shorthanded goal, but then their power plays over. And if the penalty kills would be more aggressive to try and end this and take advantage of it. So I like that idea more so than the endless power play and all that. But I want to fix over. Now, I also mentioned to you this morning, so I got 5 actually, but goaltender interference. So we have enforcers like George Peros and in the past others handing out the discipline. And a lot of people like that because, well, they're the ones who, they're the ones who enforce the game. They're the ones who, if somebody did something to one of your players, they stepped up and stuff like this. What do you think of putting a goalie on goaltender interference?
Maybe that's what Connor Hellebuck will do after his playing days are over. He would love to be in charge of that.
So my initial thought is everything would be goaltender interference. Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But then you sort of settle down and go, well, wait a minute. The coach still has to review it. But let a goalie go. Like, how many times over the years have we heard a goalie say, I have no clue what interference is. I literally couldn't turn, or I couldn't do this. Or like the goal in Dallas in the playoffs when Connor Hellebuck, quote unquote, projected the puck into his own net.
Yes.
But yet
propelled
it
into his own net.
But yet the play that caused him to propel it couldn't be I don't know how.
That was a fun episode. That was a fun day after that happened.
I don't know how we do it. I don't know if we need a goalie involved in it or how it goes about. But of all the things I desperately want fixed, it's goaltender interference, and not to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I want it cleaned up so there's a bigger, better definition of it, and it's easier to judge and call.
Okay. All right.
And that goes back to your point yesterday of having screens as a stat. So what is a good screen? What is a bad screen?
That's right.
Goaltender interference helps with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are my thoughts.
I still think screens should be tracked. We got some people that didn't agree with me. That's fine. But I still think so.
Well, you're a screener. You've been screening. You screen your calls.
I've been screening
when I've called. It's always like,
I've been screening you, Jim Toth, for years.
Not this guy.
You want to get into some of these wild ones? I've called them the out there rule changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this listen. I honestly believe when some people put these out there, they actually thought they were good ideas. Some of them might be tongue in cheek. I hope this first one is tongue in cheek. Goals past the blue line count for 2.
Say that again.
Goals scored past the blue line count for 2.
That is wild. So outside of the offensive zone, if you score,
if you score,
including on empty nets.
Because
Because that's where the predominant of them come, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just blew your mind.
Yeah, you did.
You got to think these through, Cam.
Yeah,
you can't just sit down with your crayons and come up with stuff and throw it against the wall.
Well, then you
except for on empty netters.
I would tell you this: you'd never see. Oh, except for empty netters. All of a sudden, there's that asterisk. I'll tell you this: if it wasn't, you would never have goalies pulled ever. Yes. You would never pull a goalie.
You would never, because you could be down by 2 instead of 1.
That's right.
Yeah, so it would be excluded of empty net goals.
Well, I guess you'd already be down by a goal, so who cares if you lose by 2 or 3? It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but if you empty net goal, then you're down by 2, and you'd be down by 3.
Yeah, so who cares? But it'd be really over.
I don't. That is wild.
But I think like the idea of it is to like firing the puck from the face-off dot on net for 2, and you just see if you're down by 2 goals, you just have pucks being fired from all over the place.
I mean, imagine the shame of a goalie. Not only do you get scored on,
it's embarrassing enough now.
Line,
yeah, it's embarrassing enough
but
now.
But then it's 2.
But there'd be a lot of those.
Go, Helly. There's a 2 spot.
There'd be a lot of those skates around the net when they just cannot believe it and their heads go up and down. But bad idea. Bad idea, I have to say.
I don't mind it. Maybe tomorrow on Free for All Friday, I'll think about it.
Okay, here's one. Teams play rotating series. So they play every team in their home barn every other year. And they have a 4-game series against divisional opponents. So they would play 4 in Winnipeg one year, and then they would play 4 in Dallas, for example, the other. So they play a 4-game series only once a year against divisional opponents. They play a 3-game series against conference opponents, which will now when they move to the 84-game schedule, they could do every single time. And then they play 2-game series against the opposite conference. So Sidney Crosby and the Penguins would come to Winnipeg every second year for a 2-game series. That's a little out there, Jim.
That is out there, but
you play the Dallas Stars 4 games in a row.
In a row.
Yes.
And then you could potentially meet them in the playoffs.
That's right.
Wow. I don't know. Like, that's a listener question, actually. Would you go to 4 straight games against Dallas? Or 2, I guess.
Yeah. No. It would be, the idea is 4, but you could also have like a home, like you play a 2-game series, then you play one in Dallas. Yeah. But they're 2-game series each time.
Let me ask you this. Would you like to do AHL where you get the back-to-back games?
Well,
like instead of a Friday night against Pittsburgh and a Sunday afternoon against Utah, you have a Friday, Saturday against the Penguins.
I would say this. There's lots of times when you have a wild and crazy game against the Minnesota Wild, like we've had every single year for the past 5 years or so. And it's like everybody's got that next one circled, but it's coming up 2.5 months from now. Kind of takes the wind out of the sails, right? Yeah. By then, everyone's kind of calmed down. If they played again the next day or a day after, listen, everybody's still fired up. It would change that. So I think in some respects it would be good, but in other respects, like if it was 3-game series against, say, the Anaheim Ducks and they're in town for 3 games or something like that.
That's what I mean. Would you go to all 3 games against Anaheim?
That would be just a total flatline.
Yeah, I do. The one thing I don't want to mess with is you've got to see every team at least once at home. Yeah. And that's what I do like about the change the schedule a couple of years ago. Because you should not go a year without Sidney Crosby coming to town, Ovechkin.
I agree with that.
McDavid. Now, McDavid's in the West and all this. But if you think out East, you got to see the Tampa Bay Lightning at least once. You got to see the Florida Panthers at least once. It would be devastating, I think, if Florida didn't come to town this year.
Here's another one. The NHL shot clock. Not like the clock that counts the shots, like a shot clock like in the NBA.
No.
When you have 24 seconds to shoot the puck.
Absolutely not.
You're not even willing to consider it.
No, because there's going to come a time where you just throw it on net and you're out of options. And
I'm against it too.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't like it at all.
Here's the one I do like, and it's from our listeners. A text said, I'd like to see all penalties reviewed in the dying minutes of a game. There have been some phantom high sticks or trips. They've decided games in a playoff series. I would like to see penalty calls reviewed.
I'm so against like adding any more reviews.
I know it would.
I know that they're phantom,
I don't want it to become like the NBA where the last 3 minutes
and
takes
I know
4
it's
hours.
frustrating to everybody. And like when it happens against your team, particularly when it happens to the Jets, it's so frustrating.
But here's the thing,
Cam,
if you can see it on the replay, if the broadcasters can get it before the face-off, then there should be a buzzer.
Well, then you know what? Then we need to go to the point where we have the linesmen on the ice to break up fights, but then we have no referees on the ice.
But you're right.
Every play just gets reviewed. If something happens, let's go to review. Like then that's
if there's 6 or 7 minutes, if there's 6 or 7 minors in 3 periods, the game's going to get longer. But I don't understand why if there's a tripping call, and then they often go to commercial break, or if there's a tripping call and they go to the box and then the broadcasters go here. The broadcasters literally within 4 seconds go, here's the replay. So why can't the NHL? Just make sure that
but in principle, that's what all this should be like. They should always have it just right there, but it never is. It always takes way too long.
Well, they got to spend money, right? They got to get more people on it. But I don't if my thought have always been to the phantom high sticks and the phantom trips and the phantoms this, if you could just review it quick and then have somebody buzz down even.
Let's move on here because I want to make sure we have enough time to get to some texters. I have a list here, but we'll get some. We'll just do this last one here. Review draft lottery. Remove the draft lottery first round pick for the last place team, and then give them 2 picks in the second round. So if you finish last place, you do not get a pick in the first round.
You don't get a pick in the first round at all.
No, and then you get 2 in the second.
I would be more lenient that if you finish dead last in the league, you don't get a pick in the top 10 or top 5.
Yeah,
I would listen to that. You cannot take a team like San Jose and not give them a first round pick.
I honestly think with the draft lottery the way it is now, I think tanking is not even. I don't think anybody tanks anymore.
No,
I think there's teams that realize that they're in a rebuild and they have different circumstances than the teams going for the cup. I agree with that. Like look at some the Sharks and stuff like that. But I don't think anybody's is purposely tanking.
I don't think that goes on much anymore. The last time I saw it was that year in Buffalo where the last couple of games of the season, 60% of the roster was called up from the AHL.
Yeah.
And all of their veterans were just not played.
And how did that work out for them? Because of the draft lottery, right?
Yeah, they lost it. So that's why I don't think there's a lot of tanking, but I would say no.
Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side. Hey, we want to hear from you, the listener, and the takes that you have. We've got a whole list here. So we'll fire them off and we'll get some. I want to get through as many as possible. So we'll just give our little thoughts and then we'll move on to the next one. All right.
Excellent.
At noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Miss your chance to get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. I'm telling you, if you call 204-780-6800 with the best rule that you want changed or want added into the NHL, you are going to be the winner of that $50 gift card. I'm telling you right now, call right now, 204-780-6800. You might hear from me tomorrow with the best take. You win yourself a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza.
Greg Macklin has weighed in. He said you have to clear your own zone on a delayed penalty, not allowed to ice it either.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Well done, Macklin.
There you go.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while is a good idea coming from him.
Surprises us.
Vern is our VIP.
Even by listening, that's a surprise.
I can't believe he's tuned in. Vern texts the show and is our VIP text of the day from our good friends at Wash Method. Vern says, Jets at noon agree with eliminating offside review. Thank you, Vern. Wow, that's great. Thanks so much for agreeing with me. But takes away from the rhythm of the game. Also would like to see full 10-minute 3-on-3 OT. Shootout after 10 minutes if it's still tied. Vern, yeah, it's. I know it sounds silly, but it's too much on the star players. It's the bench shortens to. You'd have if it's 10 minutes, then you'd have to roll all lines, and I don't know. I think 5 minutes is okay. I think I think it's like over 80% are actually dealt with.
Well, and also I've brought this up before, and people don't believe me, but there's flights to catch. There's if you 5. Even if it's not over in 10 minutes, you have to go to a shootout. It's just I like the 5 minute. Look, we don't have to double it. Even we could go to 6 minutes.
Yeah. Let's keep going here. Patrick says if a goalie gets a penalty, he serves it. And he has to go into the penalty box and you have to bring out the backup. What if the backup gets a penalty in the same sequence. Then it's an open net.
That would be the problem with that is injury. I don't like the idea that backup goalie has to come in the third period because his goalie took a tripping penalty and be in the net for 2 minutes cold and then leave. You might get injuries. Afternoon,
boys. This texter says, in my opinion, the NHL is in desperate need of a larger ice surface. That's the only change that I would want. But he said, but I know that they wouldn't do it because it would take up seats, those high price seats.
What about 3D, man? Make it European ice. Now, they'll never do this because it costs too much money to fix all the buildings in North America.
Well, and they would take away the primo seats.
But yes, exactly.
They'd never do
it. If you made European ice and had 3D and 3 forwards.
Terry says, hi, Cam and Big Jim.
Dumb, Jim.
If you have one skate, one glove, one stick, one elbow in the blue paint, automatic goalie interference.
No.
It's a little too harsh, I think, Terry.
And how do you judge that, right? We can't even judge now properly.
Slack says all replays should be done at live speed. If you can't tell what happened on the play at live speed, then the call in the ice stands. Slack, I like your thinking.
That is a great point.
I like your thinking,
because the game
Slack.
is fast and we get mad at refs and all that, but we always get to slow it down, look at it frame by frame. The refs don't have that luxury.
Exactly. And we always talk about the guys getting faster and faster. Steve says, if the game is tied after 2 periods, this one's wild, Steve. This is a wild take, but I like it. I wouldn't do it, but I like you're thinking. Steve says if the game is tied after 2 periods, the third is played 4-on-4. Open the ice up and hopefully let the stars shine. That is
for a whole period.
That's a wild one.
Darlene says veto the shootout and add 5-minute increments of 3-on-3. So 5 minutes if no one scores, another 5 minutes if no one scores, another 5 minutes. I think we could do this like go to 6 minutes or go to 7 minutes.
Yeah, make more sense.
But how about this? Your 3 shooters are your 3 shooters, and you just go until the shootout's won. So you might see the same shooter 3 times.
Well, or go to European rules, and then after you get through the 3, then you can just have the same person go out over and over.
Yeah.
Over and over again. I don't have a problem with that.
Call it the Taves.
Jim Toth will take you the Taves rule. Jim Toth will take you all the way till 2 o'clock. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fort.
Free for all tomorrow.
Free for all Friday tomorrow. See ya.